Hi everyone, I want to thank you for taking me to 10,000 followers. It's been a long journey and I especially want to thank the people who have stuck it out with me from the beginning. This video is the start of a new series of just a summary of some stories that I've been reading. By no means is this a sum totality of the topics that I'm looking at on a weekly basis. I want to encourage you, don't stop talking about Sudan. Don't stop talking about what's happening with the Congo. Don't stop talking about the genocide against the people of Palestine. And although they're not mentioned in this video, these stories are not far from my mind because the stories and experiences of oppressed people everywhere are all connected. The Wall Street Journal is reporting that many aging migrants are facing retirement without any benefits or safety net. Although they pay taxes and in some states pay unemployment insurance, many of the 10.5 million unauthorized immigrants in the U.S. are not eligible for Social Security or Medicare when they retire. This has forced many to turn to community services like soup kitchens and community pantries, with many others saying that they simply cannot afford to stop working. And while some states like California are attempting to pass laws that will grant undocumented retired immigrants some benefits, the critics say that immigrants already receive too many benefits. The problem is forcing many aging migrants who spent years paying into Social Security and unemployment insurance to leave the U.S. for their home countries when they are no longer able to work. A U.S. bank created fake accounts and forced clients into unnecessary car insurance and repossessed some vehicles when they didn't pay. The bank illegally charged some 35,000 customers for unnecessary auto insurance policies and repossessed the vehicles for more than 1,000 of them. According to the consumer agency quoted on CNN, Fifth Third Bank demanded that borrowers pay for coverage they did not need or else they would face delinquency, additional fees, and repossessions. Fifth Third Bank agreed to pay $20 million in penalties imposed by the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau to settle an investigation into its auto insurance practices. The BBC reports that a Ugandan court has sentenced a 24-year-old TikToker to 6 years in prison for insulting the president and the first family. Edward Awebwa was charged with hate speech and spreading misleading and malicious information against the president, the first lady, and their son, who is the head of the military. The court heard that Awebwa had shared abusive information and had said there would be an increase in taxes under President Museveni. He pleaded guilty and asked for forgiveness, but the presiding magistrate said he did not look remorseful for his actions and that the words used in the video were, quote, really vulgar. In 2022, an award-winning Ugandan author was charged with 2 counts of offensive communication after making unflattering remarks about the president and his son on Twitter. He fled the country to Germany after spending a month in jail. Rights groups regularly denounce Ugandan authorities for violations of human rights and freedom of expression. In South Korea, a politician is under fire for making remarks that blamed women for the rising rates of male suicides. Seoul City Councilor is being criticized for making dangerous and unsubstantiated comments after linking a rise in male suicides to the increasingly dominant role of women in society. Argued that women's increased participation in the workforce over the years had made it harder for men to get jobs and to find women who wanted to marry them. He said the country had recently begun to change into a female-dominant society and that this might partly be responsible for an increase in male suicide attempts. South Korea has one of the highest suicide rates among the world's rich countries, but also has one of the worst records on gender equality. Suicide prevention experts said they were concerned over Mr. Kim's report, with one mental health professor saying it was dangerous and unwise to make claims like this without sufficient evidence. The professor pointed out that globally, more men took their lives than women, and said the reasons behind the sharp rise in men attempting suicide in Seoul needed to be scientifically studied. Koreans took to the social media platform X to denounce the counselor's remarks as unsubstantiated and misogynistic, with one user questioning whether they were living in a parallel universe. South Korea has a substantial gulf between the number of men and women in full-time employment, with women disproportionately working temporary or part-time jobs. And while the gender pay gap is slowly narrowing, still, women are paid on average 29% less than men. If you've been enjoying my videos, I encourage you to sign up for IMP 2024. The Intercultural Media Project will be held on August 16th, and I'm bringing together journalists from different countries, researchers, and people who are affected by oppressive systems, and looking at how the media chooses to cover these issues. The link is in the description below. I hope to see you there.